So all of these, they hold the keys to understand our present and estimate what will happen in the future. Now, I would like to tell you a little bit about my company, startup. So the company was founded in December 2010. We have partnerships with over 300,000 apps of over 1 billion monthly active users, and we have reached over 12 billion downloads of SDK downloads. So we're really big. On top of that, we're also members of the mobile board members since 2014. We have a global presence with 6 offices around the world, and our headquarters in New York and R&D in Kiev and Tel Aviv. Now that we're done with the formalities, I would like to tell you a little bit about Soda. Soda is a social data platform that allows any social app to bring a piece of information into the data puzzle and receive a complete picture of a user profile in return. Now, to better understand this concept, let's take a moment to understand how we interact with our phone on our daily basis. Your phone knows you better and more intimately than anyone else. It knows where you are and what you're doing at any given moment of the day. It also knows all your secrets, even those things that you wouldn't like to admit to anyone else. Like, for instance, my phone knows that I'm an avid Justin Bieber fan. It also knows that I spend way too much time reading about the Kardashians. And it knows that against my will and my best efforts, I can keep myself from playing Candy Crush. It knows that I've taken over 1,000 selfies and the exact amount of filters I've used to make each of these pictures look perfect. It knows that despite of posting that healthy salad, #clean food on my Instagram account, I also ate more cookies than I would like to admit. It knows that I have a very high propensity for buying shoes if any given incentive is presented to me. It even knows who my idea of Prince Charming is, and this very sad fact that clearly he doesn't exist. Now, I've showed you some examples of how I interact with my phone on a daily basis, but my point here is that all these events are being collected through different apps, and it's a combination of all these data points that can help us better understand who the user is. And that's the concept of Soda. Soda has partnership with several apps. Each of them have different information about the users, but we're able to put them all together. We're able to put all this information together so that we can get the complete picture. We created profiles of users, anything from age, their interests, their social graph, and then we give them back to each of our partners. Now, I know it's kind of hard to grasp how to apply this theory into action. So today, I will share with you an example of these by taking a look into a mobile behavior in American users. So to do that, let's start by introducing the idea of mobile penetration, or in other words, how many of the global users are interested in any type of category. So let's start with social networks. How many of you have a social network account on your phone? Can you raise your hand? Okay, so most of you. So through Soda, we found out that the global statistic dictates that 8 out of 10 users will have a social network on their phone. This is the most popular category. It's supposed to be animated, and I'm missing half of my presentation. I don't know why. So this is the most popular category, but it's not alone. It comes with the most basic behaviors, comes with social network, games, and also communication. These are the most basic behaviors we will find in any type of user. Then comes the second layer that talks about entertainment. Anything from music, watching a video, reading an article. This is more or less 40% of the population. Then we have a third layer that talks about other types of services like shopping. Shopping is one of the most relevant categories we've seen up to date because they present the most relevant growth year over year. They're reaching 28% of the population. So that means that 1 out of every 4 mobile users has a shopping app, which is incredibly impressive. Then we have transportation, which is reaching 20% of the population. It's more or less composed by navigation, public transportation, and transportational services like Uber and Yandex. Now, this last subcategory is one of the most relevant because they presented the fastest growth. They doubled their global presence in just 1 year, and they're currently reaching 6% of the global population. Then we have different services like banking, which is reaching 10% of the population, news, and then we find niche services such as dating, health, anything from tracking your fitness, your food intake, anything for sleep or medical advice. We also have travel. So all of these categories help us understand what users are doing and how do they compare to each other. Now, this is more or less the picture for global users, and we will go further and understand the American users. We want to understand how are they different from the global users, right? So the first category is social network again, and actually Americans use less social networks than the global average. How come? Well, the thing is that in America, the audience is more wide. A smartphone user will have a composition from users anywhere from 12-year-old to a plus 65-year-old. So it's a wider composition of users. They also use less communication apps. Why? They tend to use more old-fashioned text messages that they send through their mobile carriers. Games is the same for almost any other user that we've seen. It reaches 78% of all users, and on average, a user will have 11 games, have tried 11 games in a lifetime.